special lady. I'm joined by the magnificent Angelica. Ma'am, how are you doing today?
It's great. I'm very excited about the match we'll be
Oh, yeah.
going to stream because, yeah, I really like
Do
both
you hear me
decklists
okay? I think the audio's gone a bit choppy.
and, yeah, I'm quite curious to see who
Oh,
will
yeah.
win.
It's going to be a super exciting match. We've got two phenomenal players. I have some player cards up here. We'll throw up LD's really quick. LD, for those that don't know, he is, Artabax. He's on the Artabax podcast, the co-host over there. He is an OG Pixelborn player taking rank 1 and top 16 in the EU Championship. This guy is ready to rock and roll, playing a really exciting blue steel list that we'll talk about in a second. But then we also have another really popular player, Moyen. And Moyen has his own little pedigree as well. He took top 32 in the EU Championship, top 16 at DLC in, oh God, Bologna? Bologna? How do you say it? What's the right way to say that?
Bologna, I think it's Bologna,
Oh,
probably, yes.
Bologna. Okay. 33rd at DLC Seattle, 65th at DLC Birmingham, and then multiple top of the packs. So we've got some stellar players here. And then you've looked at their deck lists. Who do you think's gonna come out on top? Do you have any wagers?
I actually think that maybe the fact who will start the match can have a great impact, and also the fact that you really need to find Bell. I guess both of players needed because I guess that Lorcana Dax he needs to have a quick start and he needs to quest quickly. Well, Moyen, I think maybe his deck list is a bit more of a control ramp, let's say so. And so I guess he needs to ramp quickly and then play the Tamator combo. So I guess if Lorcana decks goes first, it can give him a good advantage. And yeah, same for Moyen probably. I don't know why. I have a feeling that probably Moyen, like the matchup is probably a bit favorable for Moyen
Mm-hmm.
because he has two Zeus, I guess, and eight other songs. But also LD needs his word characters to be out of mm, the range of the songs.
No, I completely agree. They both have the tech cards in here that are going to make the game extremely annoying for the other player. Like you said, LD, he has, those water characters, the Alice, the Cogsworth, and then if you get that Pluto down with a Cogsworth, that gets really annoying. But meanwhile, Moyen, he doesn't just have the songs, he also has that really annoying cannon, giving characters, I believe, +3 challenger. So he has a lot. So if he can manage to control and slow down LD, then he's got that lucky dime and that kind of item combo package going on that it can really get out of hand quickly. We were talking with him a little bit earlier. You kind of mentioned it already that they're like, when they were talking like, how do you think this is going to go? And they're just like, I think it's going to come down to whoever wins the dice roll. And yeah, that's just like you mentioned earlier. I'm excited. I know people are, getting a little, let me get these deck lists out of the way. They're starting to alter, are going too soon. But I know people are getting a little tired of blue steel. I don't know how you feel about it, but I like that there's so many variations of blue steel. It keeps things really interesting and really, I don't know, exciting. You never know what version you're going to run into. But how do you feel about it? What do you think of blue steel and where it's at right now?
Oh, I never actually used to play Blue Steel, but in this meta, I find it like better than it used to be,
Mm-hmm.
because as you said, there are many different versions, and like I was really bad at playing the old one with the whole new world, but now
Mm-hmm.
it's almost off, it's almost out, so almost nobody plays it. So you have this like Kiwi. Decklist like and different builds of this deck like blue steel characters. So yeah, I think it's I can't say that it really annoys me, but yeah, maybe there are a bit too many of them. I mean, blue steel in general, but also I see some some Emerald Ember
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
decks popping up. So I think that probably after these tournaments we will see a bit more variety of colors in the meta. I don't know that Blue Steel is really, really good. Like thanks to this new Tamator, Scrooge, and Bell. But I think that other decks can also exist. Maybe they won't be like the same decks that we are used to seeing, like Red Purple and Ruby Sapphire. Probably they will be a bit less popular, but we'll probably see some new colors and like maybe blue emerald will also do something.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Yeah, I mean, some Baja Blast, right? We see Mo really trying to pilot that to success. He's Baja Blast. It's really interesting because there's so many different ways. Uh, there's so many different ways. And then Phil, you guys are ready to. You guys are good to start whenever you feel like it. So we're just kind of chilling. So sorry, I didn't give you the code word, but Baja Blast. There's so many different ways to build it. It's really exciting. You talked about Red Purple, and you mentioned that's a deck you really enjoy. And Ed, he just kind of put out his idea of Red Purple. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but it's pretty crazy. There's no bounce package in it. No goats, no foxes, no snakes, because he thinks those 3/3s, just the 4/3 and the fox and the 3/3, that 3 health just isn't going to cut it with Blue Steel anymore. Have you seen that article that was put out by Ed?
I've actually seen the deck, the new deck of Domingo Martinez, but
Mm-hmm.
not the one of Ed yet. I think I will quickly look into it. But yeah, I also think that the deck can adapt itself. And yeah, in Domingo Martinez version, I saw the locations. So
Yes.
yeah, though probably it will come back. I mean, red purple, but maybe it will be another red purple, like as you mentioned, as there are no bounce cards.
Yeah.
So it's
Red Purple, it's been this thing for so long where it's never truly gone, right? There's just so many things they can do, and now they just have to explore new opportunities, right? So maybe it is location heavy, maybe it is no bounce package, but the options are endless, and that's what I love really about this set, is that it's forcing people to reevaluate all the different ways we play these different colors and find new things. And we are definitely the deck doctoring is wild right now. So, and I love it. So,
yeah, I think that like at the very beginning, I was just afraid to see Sapphire Steel and nothing else. But now I have a feeling that players start to
mm-hmm.
adapt their decks, and yeah, maybe they are adopting different like approaches, different ways of playing, not the same that we used to see.
Ooh,
So
and
yeah, maybe more diversity.
yeah, and speaking of diversity, we're not seeing it yet as the game has begun. Moyen won the dice roll, and it looks like he inked a Tipo, goes Fortisphere, and of course, because they see it every time, it's like green steel with Diablo. They play the bell on turn 1, and
Yeah, probably it's a script. Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, it's black and white, right? Because as we look at LD, we're going to see almost the same exact turn come in with the Ink the Pluto, plays the Fortisphere, and what's he going to do? Plays that bell. So we're seeing it, and this is actually in a really interesting spot for LD right now. And getting the bell down, who do you think is going to be able to capitalize better with that?
Aldin really needs to top deck a good two drop because Doc is not a good two drop.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not now. So he really needs a Smee or yeah.
All right,
I
but
think a Smee or an Anna. He doesn't play Calhoun's in his deck.
mm-hmm. Yeah, no Calhouns. That is very true. So we
Yeah.
do lose out on that opportunity. But I mean, worst case scenario, if he does decide to play that dock, it gives him the opportunity to possibly draw into an item, because he's not playing Flabbersham for another 2 turns, and he's not going to play dock for a while either. So if he does opt to go dock, then it gives them the opportunity for Alice on turn 3 and Sing Strength on turn 3 as well. So, but one thing also is that strength might be losing a lot of its a lot of its strength actually here in a couple turns, because we see that Moyen's already at 3 ink. He's, Flowerstrom next turn and then Cogsworth the turn after that. And yeah,
Yeah, I think it really things seem to be going really, really well for Moyen at the moment. Yeah, there is this Mickey, the only one in the deck, and I guess he will be inked probably. Yeah.
yeah, it's we do see that he opts to just sing the Let the Storm Rage on, and I think that's a really heads up play, because Moyen singing that, he can't ink it, right, but he doesn't want to ink the Cogsworth, the Baby Tammy, or the Flaversham, but he draws into a second one, which gives him a free ink this next turn. So now, though, if you're LD, you have to ask yourself, do I need to get down the second character? Do I need to play this dock and just not do anything? And I'm very, is he just
I
going to
think he needs
trade?
to trade. I think he's gonna trade because if Moyen has another Storm Rage on, so this Val will be taken down very, very easily.
Yeah.
So probably he needs to trade and maybe probably still play this dock, even if it seems to be a really sad turn,
Yes.
let's say so. Yeah, yeah, that's what he's doing. But you actually need the board if you're playing this like blue steel character deck. You really need the board all the time because if
Mm-hmm.
you don't have the board, you don't have any means of pressure on your opponent. So you need to quest. Basically, you're supposed to quest.
No, that's a really good point. Tempo, this deck that LD is running is, I think, the definition of tempo. And tempo has definitely never been my forte, as Moyen drops the Flowershim, draws 2, even refills with another item, a popsicle, to draw 3 next turn if he really wanted to. But we do see that LD gets out that Alice. So now he does have the warded character and also has that Pluto in hand. So it's, his board is going to start doing a lot of questing power and not a lot that Moyen can do to stop it. That Alice coming down, giving, when he starts questing, he can just give ward to Pluto, and then Pluto, can't be Zeused. And that's one of Moyen's strongest cards into this matchup, in my opinion. But do you think, even losing out on the 2-drop in Smee, do you think that LD's still in a pretty good spot with that Alice and Pluto?
I think it depends on what Moyen will draw because mm, yeah, it's definitely a very good combo. I mean, Pluto plus Alice, but at the same time, if you give this word to Pluto, it means that you missed this 1 point of lore. So yeah, I think he will still do this. It's difficult to tell for me because Moen has a lot of cards and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of draw engines, so it still seems to be pretty hard for LD here. Just thinking, yeah, because he's only at one
Mm-hmm.
lore, and it's really not enough, probably.
No,
Mm,
it's definitely
yeah,
not where you'd want to be going into
right.
Moyen, going into 6 ink next turn. But Pluto, he played that Scrooge for 4, which you're happy about that. You'd hate to see a free Scrooge, right? So you're happy he had to pay for it, but it definitely forces your hand this turn to play the Pluto, and because that's really your only option now to protect that Alice. And with so many cards in hand, if you're LD, you gotta kind of be wondering, like, does he have the Zeus? Is he? Oh, not this again. I'll let you talk for a second because I have alerts on and I need to stop those right now. So the floor is all
Okay.
yours for a moment.
All right. So yeah, Aldi does play as Pluto, and yeah, giving him the word because definitely he doesn't know that Moyen doesn't have this in his hand, and yeah, also like Donald. Oh, Donald, sorry, it's Scrooge. It's yeah, he would have killed Alice immediately. So yeah, I think that. Also, what's kind of bad about Pluto in this matchup is the fact that, like, basically Flaversham can hit him once, not even die, and
Mm,
then there is Scrooge just finishing Pluto for free, let's say so. And
yep.
that's what's sad about Pluto. When you're playing against another blue steel that has T-pose and Flavershams, it's some kind of like you free damage.
Mm-hmm.
And then you take down this Pluto, and unfortunately Scrooge doesn't die. Well, unfortunately for LD, I think I kind of support LD because I kind of play more or less the same deck. So I'd like to see this deck probably win, and just because also it's cheaper, it doesn't have any Tamatoas in it. And it means you don't need to spend $300 or more to play it.
All right, I'm
So, but
back.
Moyen's deck is great. Moyen's deck is great too, and it's
Yes.
very very strong. Moyen himself, he called it tier zero.
Yes, he did. And you're everything you said, and I didn't even, I love to look at Pluto and think 5/5, but man, that Flaversham, that 1/6, but just like everything you said, he can just challenge into the Pluto, which he did, removes the Pluto, and Scrooge only has one damage. So now LD, he's, oh man, in a really rough spot now because his Alice is pretty much guaranteed now to, will be banished next turn. He could always, of course, so look, he opts to trade into the Flaversham, and then he could do something like Pete and sing Strength, but you don't want to be singing with Alice. That's losing. I mean, that's losing a lot of lore, and you're gonna lose Alice no matter what, anyways. So it's a rough place right now. Um, oh, you hate to see it. But that Flaversham from Moyen just put in so much work. He was able to draw so many cards, and LD is just not seeing any draw power right now. He had to ink that dock early, and I don't think he's seen any items for his draw engine either. So now he's just wondering.
Actually, he saw one, but the point is actually, I don't know. What's your take on Flaversham in this deck? I mean, the character deck.
Yeah, it's, I know in the Kiwi list last set, they weren't super high on him. They felt that Doc was enough, but now with the addition of the baby Tammy, if you can get that engine going, it gives you so much ability to grind out all, red blue, which is still a tougher matchup for him because you're just drawing so many cards. And baby Tammy feeding that Flaversham engine, it's, I don't know. I could understand why people did not want to run the Flaversham package and not run the Tammy package either, and just kind of stick with the last set version with the bells. But I don't know. I'm interested to see how it develops as the game goes on because it's hard to run Bell and have all those items and then not run Flaversham.
Yeah, that's well, to me the problem with Flaversham is the fact that there is this let's call it like anti-synergy, because you want to banish your object to
Mm-hmm.
play Bell, and at the same time you want to keep your object to play Flaversham.
Yes.
And like you have, for example, one object, but you have two cards that want to work with it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a problem for me.
No, and I completely agree. And we kind of see, like, we saw what happened. He used the bell to banish or to get rid of an item, and he lost that draw power from Flaversham. And then meanwhile, Moyen trades his crab into the. Oh, and that story's over because game one is done. LD said, hey, I can't. He saw that Moyen got the dime earlier off of Scrooge, so now this crab's going to be able to cheat out that lucky dime, and that's kind of that. So moving on to game two with LD on the play. So let's see if he can actually get that nice two drop that he did not see last game. Doc is great, but not when he doesn't draw you cards.
Yeah, no, well, because yeah, you need to discard everything. So yeah, it's just a 1/3 vanilla, some kind
Mm-hmm.
of a mini. So yeah, you definitely want to see a Smee or probably an Anna.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to see Doc turn 2. You really need to quest fast.
People are really excited. The chat's caught up. We're started. The chat's really excited about LD's watch. I'm not. I've never been a watch guy. The only watch that I own or wear is my running watch. So I don't look at watches, but now that I see it, I can't unsee it. That is a beautiful, beautiful piece of bling that he has on his arm there. How do you feel about watches, Angelica?
Actually, I have one, but it's more just a bracelet. So I'm not really into watches, I guess. Well, like I can just say whether it is pretty or not, but I can't say that I'm a real connoisseur of all these like brands or maybe mechanisms.
Mm-hmm.
So, what did the chat say about his watch? I mean, the LG's one.
They're just like the jokes are coming in. They love it. It's beautiful. That guy is strapped like Bob from Reboot. I don't know what that is, but no, they just love it. They think it's a beautiful thing. Mad strap game. Yeah. My unfortunately that my alerts were going off also, so they commented the first time I ever casted. I don't know if you were watching or have heard, but I could not figure out how to turn my alerts off, and all these alerts were going off. It was a horrible experience for everyone, and I just had a little bit of a PTSD when they went off again. But I fixed them already, so we're good. But man.
Yeah, I think once you have a technical issue, then you become kind of like paranoid
Yes.
about it. I personally experienced some echo troubles with Video Ninja just because I didn't
Mm,
like turn on this control the sound via OBS,
mm-hmm.
and that's why, yeah. And then I was kind of afraid of having this echo, even though I definitely understood how to fix it.
It's hey, tech issues. I got to. That's one of the things I mentioned this to Katie last night. It's one of the things I love about Wonderland running all the tech stuff for the SCLs is that if there's a tech issue, it doesn't bother. I don't have to worry about it. I just get to ignore it. I get to chill out and I get to relax, and that's all Luke's problem. And I love that because when you're behind or when you have a tech issue, all of a sudden that's the only thing in the world that you can pay attention to. So shout out to Luke for taking on that issue. Speaking of tech issues, we lost Moyen. He's back. All right, we're good.
Yeah. So yeah, now all these starts, and yeah. Uh, will he play a popsicle? Yeah.
All right.
No, he inks it.
Okay.
Sorry,
Yeah, I was really
I
confused
didn't
for a second
understand it
too. I
at
was
first.
like, "Hey,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
know you're used to Bell, but hold on here."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think that in this matchup, you really want to play your one drop,
Mhm.
because yeah, you want to quest fast, and if you just play a popsicle and you don't draw a bell, it's too slow.
Mhm. And
But
yeah,
yeah, and there is a bell
unfortunately,
from Moyen.
oh, Moyen top decks the Bell and is able to play that off of the Fortisphere. And that feels good. They're he saw the hands from Moyen. Oh man. And not only did he top deck the Bell, he has another item in hand for that Flowersham. So he this next turn he's going to be able to sail and play the popsicle and then go right into Flowersham draw, and that is just not where LD wants him to be at. He has a 2-drop this time. It's a Smee, but unfortunately he can't quest. Like he just can't quest with that Bell there, and I don't. Oh, it's already looking a little dangerous if you are LD right now.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. It's gonna be hard, despite the fact that he already started here. But I
Mm-hmm.
think that yeah, the matchup is still favorable for Moyen because the deck is kind of it has more tools of control.
Yes.
So that's why. And also talking about the items, I think Moyen not only he has more items, but also he has all these means to recover the items. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Tamators and stuff. So
No, you're 100% correct, right? He just and that's just it. He just has so many ways to just grind things out, and then he doesn't he doesn't need the aggro because he has the dime at the end. And if you get to that high ink and you can just, if your Tamatoa does stick, then you're just like, hey, here's a lucky dime and here's all my items. And as speaking of items, Moyen, insult to injury, drops a second bell. He's like, LD, here's a bell for you. I'll play two for us. And it,
Yeah, it's like you think you are playing an aggro deck. It's actually me who does it.
oh man, yeah, that and then of course, Moyen gets another item, so he can still go into Flaversham. But at this point, Moyen could also just drop a Scrooge, and he has all the tempo. He answers Alice extremely easily.
Yeah,
LD,
yeah. LG
LD,
quest
yep,
because he needs to quest because if
yep,
he just stays, it's not a matchup where you can just do nothing and
mm-hmm,
wait and yeah, you cannot wait. It will not get better.
yeah,
Unfortunately, for LG, it will just not get better. Things can only get worse with the time.
yes,
That's why I think he still quests, hoping not to have, I guess, not to take a strength or especially a storm mm, on his me, and probably that's what will happen because
mm-hmm,
yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
think,
there is no word yet. There is no word from Alice yet.
mm-hmm. I think if you're Moyen, you just drop the Scrooge because that's an easy answer for Alice. You sing a strength on Smee, and then you trade into the Mickey Mouse. And then if you're LD, I mean, what do you do at that point? Do you like?
You cry.
Oh,
I don't know. You just like suffer. You took these two bells, and then yeah,
mm,
that should be painful. Yeah,
yep,
because also what I need to mention that Moyen is a very good player,
yes,
and there are some players making really bad decisions with this like blue steel that's a bit more of a control deck.
mm-hmm,
You can mess the things up, especially if you
mm-hmm,
don't have the bells. Because to me, also that's a difference between like a good player and an average player. A good player usually manage to do something, even if they don't have a very good hand.
yeah, oh yeah, and that's the a tale as old as time, right? Where people are just like, oh, I lost because I just had a bad hand, and it's like, but then you show that hand to someone else, and they're just like, well, actually, you could have done A, B, and C and been just fine. And it's hey, how do you handle the cards you dealt, right? And then just a little bit of you got to believe in the heart of the cards, right? So a little bit of luck goes a long way. But look, your Moyen, he played exactly how we thought he would. He sings the strength on the Smee. He uses the bell to take out the Mickey and plays a Scrooge and is rewarded with a popsicle. So now LD's turn. He's just trying to find something it looks like. Plays the popsicle to draw, and he's like, I don't want to ink any of these, but I
You
think
will
it.
maybe hardcast the storm region, but also there are some situations I think you can really like do nothing. Like
Yeah.
here, LD, I can't say that he's playing like I don't know if he could have done something differently because like it just seems so complicated when your opponent has a good matchup against you
Mm-hmm.
and also they have a good hand against you. Some
Oh, for
games
sure.
are just like impossible to win, even if you're a good player. So
Mm-hmm. And
I
that,
think the matchup is very important in Lorcana.
it is. It is, right? It's I mean, you said earlier you started playing Steel Song, and you're I'm sure you've learned that how that matchup feels into red blue. And it doesn't feel
Mm,
great.
actually, I don't know. Like, it depends because I can't say that I faced lots of good red blue players probably. But yeah, indeed, I know that it's not a great matchup. I also played Still Song at Bologna.
Oh, well there you go. Well, there you go. So,
So
uh
I like the deck, but I think that maybe I'm better at playing red decks than I am
mhm.
at playing steel decks. So that's why. But I actually like the deck, and I think things are getting better. Well, at least they were getting better against red blue because you have beats,
Mhm.
and it's a great instrument against this Moe shark. So
Mhm. No, I
I think
completely
it used
agree.
to be worse.
Yeah, it used to be a lot worse, but it's getting there. And speaking of getting there, we just saw LD go through his turn. He gets the Flaversham down and does pull a Doc and a Cogsworth. That Cogsworth, that resist +1 adds up, and that's 2 warded characters. That could be offer a lot of opportunity. He can play Cogsworth this next turn. He's on 5 ink, so we can go Cogsworth and Fortisphere maybe, but there's opportunity. But unfortunately, Moyen just has so many cards in his hand as he banishes the Popsicle to draw 2 more and sings "I'll Let the Storm Rage On." No, yes, yep. Banishes the Popsicle to draw 2 more, sings "I'll Let the Storm Rage On," and he's got so many cards as he plays another Scrooge to just. But he does whiff. He does whiff, which, in all fairness, he's played like 6 items, I think, at this point. So, yeah, you could see it happening. But
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember how many items he has in
mm-hmm.
general. Was it something? There were not so many of them actually, I think. Only 8 items? No, sorry, it's not. It's another deck.
I think there might be
16.
16.
Yeah,
Yep, yep.
16.
So,
So, yeah, yeah, like it's still like an item deck, I
yeah,
would say,
yeah,
because
there's still a lot.
there is also this one with Oswald's,
Mm-hmm.
and the
Mm-hmm.
one with Oswald plays something like 21 objects.
Yes, a lot, a lot of them. So, but we're seeing Moyen. He heads up play. Reminder to everyone: always draw first before you start doing things. So he knew he was gonna play Fortisphere there, but he plays that first just in case something better comes along than a Cogsworth. Nothing better comes along. Seeing that sticky Mickey, so he drops the Cogsworth and turns it back over and. That is a lot of Scrooges. That is a lot of Scrooge McDucks on Moyen's side of the field now. Let's see if he whiffs again. Is he going to whiff in his 16 item deck? It looks, no, he does not.
No.
Gets the item. Oh, well, there goes some songs that he doesn't really need. When you have a bunch of 4/4s on the field, I guess you don't really need your songs a lot, especially when
Especially against the word cards, yeah.
exactly,
You like don't
exactly.
care at all.
So but this is a rough place. This is it's not over but it's not looking great for if you're LD. But I'll be honest, I want to see him pull it out. I love a good best of 3. And so count me in. All right, LD, I'm counting on you and I'm rooting for you. Heart of the cards, all that wonderful stuff. But let's see what happens when you have so many ducks. And he draws 2 more. So
Yeah.
strength. All right.
Well,
Tipo.
Tipo is not so strong here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but the board is strong. But strong is the board. Yeah, as you mentioned, 3 Scrooges, it's just like a full house of
Yeah.
Scrooges. And they can take down all this like word cards, Alice, and yeah,
Mm-hmm. At this point,
Cogsworth.
if you're LD, so Moyen quest with everything passes. If you're LD, I think you need a second Cogsworth, and then, but even then, it's not like if you quest, he still just trades into everything, and then his characters aren't doing any damage back. So the Scrooges take 2 damage or 1 damage, and and then meanwhile Moyen is questing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 each turn right now. So it's a 3-turn clock if you're Moyen now. So it's bleak, but we do get to see the dock coming down this turn. So we are gonna sing though, get one of those Scrooges out of here, which feels good. Or something else? Question
Maybe
mark?
we'll still quest and give us 1 point of lore to Cogsworth.
And that
Yeah, I'm just thinking. I think these 2 bells really ruined the game for
yes.
LB
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, if it were not for these 2 bells, he could have quested
Quite a
easy.
bit.
Like
Yes.
yeah,
I agree. That Smee, that Sticky Mickey, it would have added up, right? And he'd be at a different place right now. And I wonder if that's what he's pondering is, do I just quest with Ariel or do I sing this strength? And because I
The
think.
point is, if you sing the strengths, you are controlling the deck.
Mhm.
That is a control deck. Like
Yes.
that's a problem. Yeah, there is this dog coming,
Mhm.
and yeah, okay. Will he quest just Cogsworth? I think probably no, because it's too easy to take him down,
Yeah.
and then you take down the other board, especially if Moyen has any songs in his hand, and we know
Mhm.
that he does.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh man. Yep. So it's so Alice is done this turn. Those Scrooges uh being able to take out Alice this turn, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Still no just Cogsworth just for you're gonna kill him with his own board, essentially getting that Cogsworth down. Not kill him. We don't say that when we're playing Lorcana. I'll do better.
Yeah,
But
you banish,
we
yeah.
banish, yes. We quest a 20. All those things. But look at all that card draw though. Those Flavershams just staying for so long because there's just no that six on there is just so difficult to handle, and having 6 willpower. Meanwhile, Moyen, he's got goes to 10-9 ink, so he can drop a Cogsworth and a Pete and say if you drew songs, you're not going to be able to use them this turn. And that hurts because now whatever he trades into the Alice doesn't take any damage back. No, oh man. What do you think? Does LD is there a chance? Do you think he could pull anything out?
I'm trying to invent something. Maybe he has a B prep, like the third color.
Yeah.
But the problem
Mm,
that even a potential B prep would have cleared his own board and
yes. Yep. I mean,
just go after.
yeah, and even if he did, even if Moyen was like, you know what, play 3 colors, you can play a B prep. He still just drops the baby Tammy next turn and draws 2 anyways off of the popsicles, and all of a sudden his hand feels just cycling through his deck to the lucky dime and the big crabs, and it's rough because right now Moyen, he takes out the Alice, he takes out the Benja, and he's questing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 next turn to go to 16.
Yeah.
LD drops a Pluto and a Smee, but he's only at 3 lore.
Yeah, 3 lower is really like nothing for a tempo
Yeah,
deck. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
especially.
the main problem.
Exactly. Oh man.
Yeah, these 2 bells, I think they were just too good for Moyen. And talking about good players, I think also a very good player always finds good cards.
Yes, they do. So, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles, right? If you're now going back to Moyen, LD does go back up to 5, so he's no longer at 3. The aggro deck is moving, or tempo deck, I guess. But now Moyen, he gets some more songs. He draws 2 more off of Flaversham. It never ends. He just continues to just use and abuse because now he's got 9 ink. He could go to 10, so he could play a crab and hardcast a Zeus on the Smee just for fun, but he could also just sing the Zeus on a Smee. Uh, oh,
Yeah, he can do pretty much anything he wants to because
yes.
he's such in a good position.
Mhm.
He's like,
It feels it feels like it's like a cat playing with its food right now is what it feels like. And I hate to say it because I want LD to win and I want a game 3, but I don't know. He's going to have to cook up something real good, and I just don't know if he can. Not when he keeps drawing these 1-cost Mickeys. But I think he's got none left in his deck. No, he's got 1 more because he's only seen 3. So
what do you think of this Mickey? Because some players prefer Mulan, and what do you prefer?
I ran a lot of aggro song last set, not Diggy Diggy Hole, but I ran a lot of the 1-drop Simba, and I really liked the 1-drop Simba and it does the same thing as Mulan in that it let me be really, really greedy with my mulligan. I ran a lot of uninkables in the deck, but if I had the Simba in my opening hand, it allowed me to dig myself out of those holes. It allowed me to dig even further for the cards I really want. And so I really like the Mulan in this list. The Sticky Mickey is nice, but it just, hey, one lore, it does add up, right? But we don't win by just one lore at a time. We win by getting those big turns down, getting down the Smees and the Bells and the Alices, and those are the pieces that you need. So I don't know. Overall, I'm a fan of the Mulan over the Sticky Mickey. But how do you feel? What way do you lean?
I don't know. I don't have a feeling that I like any of them because Mulan, she's just a free kill for
Mm-hmm.
the Storm region,
Yes.
and Mickey, yeah, he's a sticky Mickey, but it's still like some kind of a character that doesn't do that much, and you hate to top deck it.
Yes.
You
You
really
do.
don't want to top deck
Mm-hmm.
it because Mulan sometimes you can top deck it if you have another card that you don't want to play for some reason. Like if you have two dogs, you
Mm-hmm.
can discard a dog with it. So I really don't know. I would have preferred to play something else, like
Yeah.
as Wanderer, because these two they don't feel that strong to me. And I guess the Sticky Mickey is here because there are so many steel decks, and you want
Mm-hmm.
something that doesn't die to the storm.
Yep. And there's merit to it, right? It doesn't get banished by the storm, so it does live long enough normally for Strength of a Raging Fire. If you do, get to that point where you have three characters down, but yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things. It's the one drop game. I think that's sometimes the biggest conversation with deck building is what one drop do I run. But meanwhile, you look at this and the Pete comes too late. That Sticky Mickey's not going to do anything. Moyen can't even fit all of his cards on his mat anymore. I mean, it is just a nasty, nasty looking board. Huge shout out to LD though for just really trying. But if we look at Moyen, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on board. Oh, so he has Lorthel on
Yeah,
board. So
yeah. It's just over. Yeah,
yeah, and LD
yeah.
picks it
These
up.
two bells really did their job. Yeah.
Yes, they did their job very well. So they're gonna come back over for interviews though, and we'll see what they have to say. But I have an idea of what LD is gonna say here in a second. But they're gonna jump in here and we'll start talking. Let me get their deck list up here for people to see. All right, what's going on, gentlemen? How can you hear me?
Yep.
Sweet.
Hi.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, so LD, how'd it feel when you saw two bells come down in game two?
It was like among the worst things I've felt in my life. 34 years on this earth, and it's yeah, I hope Moyen will be paying for my therapy.
Yeah. Yeah, that was awful. And I don't know if he told you yet, but he didn't have a bell in his opening hand. He top decked that. So when he
He
played the
didn't.
item, so it was
He
just
didn't say that actually, but
yeah.
that is interesting to know.
Hey, I guess he just believed in the heart of cards a little bit more, but uh
Yeah, you have got to believe.
yeah, I mean, you guys called it from the start, though. You were talking. It's like I think whoever wins the dice roll, this is really going to come down to. And well, Moyen did win the dice roll, but for everybody watching, two very different lists. More Kiwi versus more of this. I kind of midway list that I. How do you feel about it, LD? Do you think that Kiwi is in a good position to get against it, this more Artabax version, or do you think Moyen his list does have kind of the upper hand?
So it's really hard to say. I opted to play like the Kiwi version this week because it's kind of just I wanted to play something a bit different,
Mm-hmm.
to what I played last week. So it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't that I felt it was especially well positioned, but I thought it could be built in a way where it did have decent game into the other blue steel decks.
Mm-hmm.
And my main thought was, because he's kind of dropped Smees, on turn 2, he's kind of looking just to sail or Tipo. There's a bit of a window to be slightly more aggressive,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really dependent on him missing Bell, and like he did
Yes.
not miss Bell. So it's
No.
that window exists if they don't play a 3-3 on turn one. If they do, it's still incredibly hard to be like the aggressor in any game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all kind of like, yeah, I put my faith in the heart of the cards a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and it did not pay off for me. And in sort of testing and everything, the matchup felt pretty flippy. It was reasonably close, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it certainly. I don't think I drew a the game one draw was kind of weak for me, but
Mm-hmm.
it was more that like basically if he can shore up the early game with bells, like he'll get to this point where he draws infinite cards, and I
Yeah.
sort of sit there like, oh, I guess I'll play a dock and some maybe draw two.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that like both are fine and playable, but like
Mm-hmm.
if you, I'd probably favor his version for sure.
Yeah. All right. For you, Angelica, any thoughts? Any
Yeah,
questions?
I also wanted to ask Aldi, how do you feel about Anne in your decks? I saw that you don't run the Calhouns, but you have Annes. So
Yeah, yeah, really interesting question. In testing for the last week or so, Calhoun felt very slow into a lot of these decks, and a lot of the time, like you're trying to be proactive, and you're kind of just sat there questing for one, and then they trade in their bell or something for it, and you're like, oh, well, this could have been anything else. So I started just looking at the options of things that can realistically more two drops that quest for two. They're a bit more proactive, and like the 4 willpower makes it tough for a lot of the blue steel decks to
Mm-hmm.
clean up. It's very good again. It's great while you're ahead.
Yes.
like everything in a Kiwi deck. It's brilliant when you're ahead, and then really miserable when you're behind. So yeah, it's part of like, if you don't have a SME, it could be part of that explosive curve out that the deck has. And so it just kind of fills that role a bit more and helps you free up some uninkable slots. I think
Mm-hmm.
there's reason for playing both, but I thought I'd try that out and just try be a bit more proactive this week.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, it's true that Calhoun, I think you mostly want to see it on the draw, probably.
Mm,
So yeah, on the
yeah, for
play, it's
sure.
not that efficient.
No, it feels quite bad on the play a lot of the time.
mm-hmm. Hmm. I mean, I like it. It's, Anna is one of those cards that I remember testing a ways back in Blurple. And like you said, it's that got that 4 butt questing for 2 feels pretty good. But yeah, unfortunately, you didn't see it in game 1 or game 2. You didn't even ink it. You just never saw the card.
Yeah,
So,
it's the way it goes.
but Moyen, for you, I believe there was an event in the States somewhere this weekend where someone ran a list that was really close to yours. They had mentioned that they got the idea from you, and that they just changed around 1 or 2 cards, and they really loved your list. And then we see you pilot this today, and it did really really well. You became essentially you like I don't even know. It was close at times, but man, those you get down 2 bells, you get down 3 Scrooges, and then your Flaversham just drawing you. You had so many cards at all times. It was wild. How are you feeling about the development of this more kind of mid-rangey? It's like it's not the 22 items, but it's more like this mid-rangey kind of combo, not combo. I don't know. How would you describe it? What kind of play style?
Um, yeah, I mean, this deck can basically do everything. It's still centered around the items, but it's like, unlike the Oswald decks, it actually beats aggro, and it's extremely consistent. I've been
Mm-hmm.
playing something similar to this, like from the start of the set, and been refining it since. I'm happy some other people are having success with similar lists, but I do strongly believe like this version of Blue Steel. Maybe you could twist 1 or 2 cards, adjust it to the meta, but I think basically this version of Blue Steel is like a best deck of the format.
Mm.
Of course, we're like a few weeks into it, and that opinion might change, but I'm very very high on the deck. I do think LD's deck was like kind of like in parts it was okay. It was an aggressive Blue Steel deck, but for being an aggressive Blue Steel deck, it was kind of tagged for the mirror. Right, there was a
Mm-hmm.
lot of high willpower stuff, a lot of high willpower, high questers with like Anna, Alice, even Baymax and Cogsworth. The Pluto can be annoying in the mirror. And I've tested the matchup a lot, and I still felt slightly favored, but I think like if it's not tagged as much against like something like Artabax is playing, I think I'm even more favored. Um, Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in the process of writing a guide on it, but it's like a lot of work. But
Ooh.
I hope I can release it over the next few days. But it's a lot more work than I thought to write a proper piece on it.
Yes, it is. I tried writing a Steel Song one. I released it for free because I was like, this is a lot of work. I just want to get something out, and I don't feel like it was way more work than I thought it was going to be. But hey, you got, I don't think Worlds is going to be tomorrow, so people will. I think they'll wait. As long as you get it out before set champs, I think they'll be very happy. So.
I also have a question for Moyen.
Mhm.
Actually, I saw that there are some discard decks in this format. For example, well, the classic one, the Emerald Steel, and then sometimes I see this like Amber Emerald again with discard with Benny Estes, and
Mhm.
also sometimes even this purple Emerald,
Mhm.
like some kind of a discard edition too, with this new Diablo. How do you feel about playing against these decks?
So far, most of these matchups they felt like very, very even, which is impressive because most decks don't manage to get an even matchup against this deck, right? But this is all being with like the only removal answers for the Shift Diablo are song based right now. So I think as
Mm.
soon as the discard decks take up a bigger percentage of the meta share, all the blue steel decks have to do is play like 2 Fire the Cannons, and suddenly it's a pretty good matchup.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Yeah, but it's an inkable, yeah, so it kind of can maybe make your other matchups worse.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
That's why
because you
I
can
don't
bring
want to play
more
it.
probably.
Like if they I don't know if there's enough people playing discard, it's like yes, you have to make your deck a little bit worse to be a little bit better
Mm-hmm.
against discard. But until then, I'm not playing Fire the Cannons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely understand. I'm not a big fan of this card.
All right. Well, do you have any other questions, Angelica?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, let's get some shout outs then. LD, any words?
Yeah, just thanks to the judges, always doing a fantastic job putting on this tournament. Thanks to Pavel as always, and thanks to both of you for the cast. If you want to hear stuff from me, you can find me on the Articast podcast every week on Artabax's YouTube channel, and you can follow me on Twitter/X at LorcanaDex.
Perfect. And that will, of course, be in the description, everyone. And if you've never heard it, you might want to get out from underneath the rock because it's a pretty great one. And we also have another great podcast. Moyen, any shout outs?
Yeah, so I do a weekly pod called Podcana on all podcast platforms. That's we've been doing it for a year now. We recently hit 5K subs,
Yeah.
and looking forward to
Congratulations.
the next goal. Yeah, that's where you can find me, and hopefully I'll release my MetaFi soon, where you can get some more in-depth content. And then on Twitter, it's Moyen_HS. Actually, last week I also streamed like 3 times to play Pixel One Connect on both my Twitch and the YouTube of Podcana. So you can also catch me there.
All right, see some highlight. That's right. I saw Pavel do a little shout out for you on Twitter from when you made a pretty high rank back in OG Pixelborn days. So not quite rank 1 like our boy LD over here, but it was a high rank all the same. So
No, I was ranked 1 a lot
oh,
last
were
year.
you?
Yeah.
I wasn't playing at that time, so I apologize.
No,
No shade.
no worries. But the screenshot was from this year because now I'm
Oh,
like top 20 in that thing, and I think I'll try to get rank 1 over the next weeks. But yeah, last year I was rank 1.
nice. Okay. Well, very nice. Very nice. So, and then Phil, if you're still listening, you want to say hello? Our the head judge of the whole LCCC, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, want to shout out anything?
Sure. I'll shout out to IE Enchanted. It's a group I run organizing Lorcana in Southern California. You can find us at ie-enchanted.com, and all my socials are also on there.
Perfect. All right, Angelica.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, and also have a YouTube channel that's I want to develop a bit more because I have one in French and I also want to have one in English, and also I have
That's wild.
my Instagram with just some reels. It's lorcana.queen. So if you want to look at some Disneyland pictures and some just funny videos about Lorcana, feel free to follow me.
Well, perfect. And of course, I'm your boy Meyer Madness, Cody Meyer. Before I do anything, though, I want to remind everyone, if you want to see the winners brackets, go to lccc.live. Okay, you can go in there, you can see all the winners brackets. You can even vote on who you think is going to win each round. Okay, so awesome place. Huge shout out to Pavel. Huge shout out to our players, the magnificent Angelica, and our head judge. And of course, you can find me here on my Twitch or my YouTube at Meyer Madness, and also all over the Discords. I'm pretty active on there. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to let you get out of here. Make sure you guys check out, though, LCCC.live for all this amazing gameplay put on by Pavel. But above all else, remember, stay happy and healthy. We'll see you around. All right, give me just a second.